Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced Stream, Richard and Joey edition. I'm Richard, at Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Joey, at JWonderl on the MakeCode forum.
And today, we're working on our Horticulture game, which is a game about gardening. We started this 2 streams ago, and this is probably going to be like another long multi-stream one. So, yeah. Let me go over what we have in the game so far, but first, quick note. Vivian's not here today, and she's the one who normally runs all the technical stuff, so I'm running the technical stuff today. So if there are problems, please call them out in chat, and I will try my best to fix them, but no promises because there's only 2 of us today.
Yeah. One other note is that we won't be here on Monday because that's a holiday for us.
Yeah. George Washington's birthday is not Monday, but it's the day we celebrate.
It's basically Wednesday.
So the idea is that we're making a cool little gardening game. We've made plenty of gardening games before, but this one's going to be new and different. And what we have so far is we've got this adorable little crow farmer drawn by Shannon, where you can walk around, and then if you press the menu button, you get this menu of your tools. So right now we have a watering can, a shovel, a hoe, and some gloves. You can't actually use any of those. We haven't coded that in yet. So the other thing that's kind of changed from last week, the only thing that's really changed is I added a bunch of tiles to the tile set. So yeah, now we've got, like this weird looking house, some fences, some stepping stones. We got some like logs and stuff that we have to get rid of, and I put some water down here too.
Ooh. You can fill up your can so you can pour water all over the nice plants.
Yeah, that's the idea. And we've got some other things I want to go through real quick, which is, I don't know if we did a great job of explaining last time how this game's going to work. I explained it to Vivian and Shannon before stream, but I didn't actually get into like the specifics of what I was thinking. And also Joey wasn't here, so this will be a good refresher for Joey. But we have an idea that we're going to have a bunch of different plants, and you're going to be able to plant them in your garden and cross-pollinate them. So you can end up getting some plants with some cool behavior. So here are some plant ideas I wrote down. I'll go through them real quick. So first is a self-spreading plant. This is a plant that if it has soil next to it, will plant itself again and keep growing. So kind of just like fill up your garden. A tall plant, which is a plant that will get taller every day. A bubble plant, which this was actually a suggestion from a forum contributor, Omnis Imperium. Or wait, no, it was Underwater Astronaut, I think. Underwater Astronaut, who suggested that we do something that lets you breathe underwater. So figured we do a bubble plant, and it'll like go over your head like a diving helmet, and then you can go into water. So that'll be fun. And then we have some useful ones like sprinkler plant, waters the soil around it. Jovial plant, which says hello to you, which is very useful, picks up your spirits. Rude plant, which insults you when it sees you, also very useful. It's good to keep your, where you are in perspective. Wanderer plant, which will just like pull itself out of the ground and just walk around on random paths. Jumping plant, which will hop around. A companion plant that'll like follow you around. A grabber plant picks up things and sets them down. Scaredy plant runs away from everything. Nomadic plant picks up and replants other plants. And mold plant, which turns grass into soil and tills it. So just a bunch of little like random plants that just do random things. And so you can come up with some fun recipes that you can try to cross-pollinate. So for example, if you had a companion plant and you did it with a grabber, then, well, now you got a little friend who will pick stuff up and carry it around for you. So I call that the assistant. Then you could also do an autotiller where you do like a mole plant and a wanderer plant. So it just walks around randomly and tills all of the soil as it goes. You can have friends, which will be a self-spreading plant and jovial. So it'll just fill your garden with plants that say hello to you. And then if you get really into it, you can get like the farmer plant, the holy grail, which is like a sprinkler plus a mole plus a wanderer plus a grabber, which would be able to move around, till the soil, put water in it, and then like pick up seeds and put them down. So yeah, hopefully that kind of clears up what the vision for this game is. There's a lot of stuff here, so it'll probably take us a bit. But I think it'll be really cool and something that at least I haven't seen in any farming game before. All right. So where should we get started, Joey?
How do we get the plants? Are we buying seeds on the internet?
Yeah,
Or
we're gonna
how
do
we
like a
raise?
shop, I think. So I was thinking that maybe like this sign here, like you would go over here and then there would be like a shop and a guy who would just be like, yeah, here's some weird seeds I found. I don't know what they do. It's probably like a rutabaga.
Okay.
Or something along those lines.
Like that. That's a good way to get started, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that today. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a shopkeeper, and we're going to make it so that we can put stuff in our inventory. And we still need to make it so we can select things from our inventory, but we'll do that later, whatever. Okay, so a great way to make it so that you can move between tile maps is to use the tile maps extension, which we already have added to this project. And one of the things that you can do with this, which is pretty useful, is we have a concept of doors. So you can connect a tile map to another tile map, and then you can go through a door and get to it, which is pretty neat. Before I do that, though, so right now I have this tile map right here, and it's in a normal tile map block. Well, if you're going to use doors, you have to use the tile map blocks from the tile maps extension. So these ones right here. Luckily, though, you weren't able to do this in the past, but now you can just go into your tile map, do a Control A, Control C, go over here, make sure it's the right size.
Could also go to My Assets, right? Oh,
paste it.
That just works too.
Oh yeah, you're right. I could have done that too. Well, now I have two of them. Cool. Okay. So yeah, great. We've got it in this new block. Say goodbye to this one. Goodbye. And now we will go ahead and I think make two variables. We're going to make one that's farm map. Go ahead and drag that out. Set it to this. And then we're going to make another one that is shop map. And who knows, eventually we might even make some more tile maps. Maybe we'll make something like a town or something you can go to. Be cool. Okay. Now to make sure that our game is no longer the crow floating in a void of nothingness, let's go ahead real quick and set this to be our current tile map. So gonna go down here, gonna do a git, gonna put that there. And all right, we're back where we started. Okay, so let's do a quick shop. So for this, I think I'm just going to, we'll just go ahead and do this. We'll put in like a little path. And then in this path, we'll put some fences. And I'm not going to draw a building right now because that'll take a while. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go into here. I'm going to make a tile for the shopkeeper. And we're going to just put like an S for shop. And we'll go ahead and put them right there. And this tile map doesn't need to be this big, so let's make it a little smaller. I'm going to go into the height, and the minimum you can have that'll still cover up the screen is 8. So let's do that. All right, cool. So while we're in the tile map editor, there's another thing we can do real quick, which is we're going to need to define some tiles that are going to act as doors for us. So I'm going to do that right now. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to go into the gallery, and I'm going to use the ones that come with the placeholder. This is something you get when you install the tile maps extension, and it gives you some nice things like doors. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this door tile and put it over here. There we go. And now I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to use that same tile. and set the door over here. So the idea is that when you walk over here, we're going to teleport you to the other tile map.
Makes sense.
Cool. All right. So let's go over and see. We got our door 1. Looking good. Well, looking bad, actually. We don't want to see these. But I'm going to leave them for now until we've got the teleporting going, and then we'll take care of it. Just because it's going to be easier to see what's happening if we leave them on, so you can, we can see what we're doing. Okay, so we've got doors. We need to actually build the door in our code that'll connect these two tile maps. So we're going to go back to the tile maps extension, and we're going to get a connect block right here. And we're going to connect these two maps. So I'm going to connect farm map and shop map by door 1. So this is a dropdown. You can actually use, any of these or add a new kind if you want, just like you can a sprite kind. But because I'm using this door 1 tile, I might as well keep my door 1 so that, it all makes sense. All right, so now they're connected, but still we're not getting anything. So to make that happen, we're going to have to do a tile overlap and actually call the code to make this connection go. So we'll go ahead and drag this out real quick.
Cool. So I got 2 things in the chat, looks like.
Yeah.
So Dobix says that we should make the shopkeeper an old farmer crow. So a crow with a gray beard that'll give you tips and sell you stuff. I like that idea. I think we should maybe that one. If it's gonna be a crow, it should probably be Shannon that draws it. I feel like.
Well, I can like.
Beautiful.
I'll do one for now, and then we can get yeah, maybe Shannon can fix it up later.
Yeah. So I like that. And then Webhead Artist is asking about gillyweed and ocean biome thing, and I believe that was one that we had.
Yes.
That was one of the ones.
So I do have that in my plant ideas post-it. Where art thou? Here we go.
There.
So we're gonna have a bubble plant. It's gonna turn into a diving helmet and let you go in water. We're not gonna do that today, but hopefully once we start getting these plants going, we can look at that. Cool. Okay, so we've got our overlaps event, and we've made sure that our kind is player, which is the kind that our crow has. Now we're going to go into here, and we're going to select our door tile, so door 1. And now we're going to go into tile maps, go down to the connection section, and we're going to do this load tile map connected by door 1. All right, this is going to work perfectly. Let's do it. Whoa. Okay, so not quite what we expected. The reason that ended up strangely is because we actually loaded a new tile map, but we didn't change the position of our crow. So you could see, maybe you saw that I entered in from the right side of the screen there. That's because our crow was actually like over here, because the other tile map is bigger than this one. So we want to, when we go through this door, we want to place our crow on top of this door 1 tile so that we come in the right place. So let's do that. We can just go into scene. We'll just do a place on top of random. Do sprite. Do door 1. And let's see what happens. Whoa! Yeah, so this isn't what we want.
Forever?
Yeah, I think so. Let's go ahead and figure out what we can do about this to make it so that we don't end up in this weird, like, I don't know, in-between dimension. So what's happening there is when we are overlapping with that tile, we're placing ourselves on another one of these tiles, which is going to make this overlap event happen again. And it's going to load the other tile map, And then it's going to place us on one of those tiles, which will cause the overlap event to happen again. And you see where I'm going with this. It's just going to loop forever, and you're going to flip between the two tile maps really fast. But we can fix that pretty easily. What we want to do is we want to move ourselves off of this door. So we can do that by just moving our X by 16 pixels. But which direction we move is going to depend on which tile map we're in. Because on this one, we want to move ourselves to the left. On the other one, we want to move ourselves to the right. So the way we can do that is if we go into here and go into tile maps, we can check our current tile map and just do an equals with, let's say, our farm map. And if we are on our farm map, then we want to change the sprite's X by -16 because we want to move to the left. Otherwise, we want to change the X by +16. And let's try this out.
And it should feel pretty good because you're usually going to be going in the direction that it's bumping you anyway. Unless you come up from the bottom, I guess.
So the only weird thing now is that I have quite a bit of range that you can kind of go into. So it ends up looking weird when I'm going back and forth like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my tile maps. And I'm just going to, narrow this down a bit. So we'll just do that and that. I think, oops, let's do the actual grass tile. We're going to make this one a wall. And I think just like these 3 a wall. Nah, you can sneak through there if you want. And then over here, we'll just narrow it down too. So we'll just do it like that.
Good.
All right. Anyone else try it out real quick? Yeah, looking good. All right, cool. So we've got that going, but let's get rid of these door tiles, which we don't really want to show to our player. So we're going to use the tile maps extension again to do this, and we're going to use a block that we actually used before, this cover all block. But we're going to use a new event to make this happen. So I'm going to drag out this on tile map loaded event. And I'm actually going to go ahead and take this one out and put it in here. Because we want to make sure that whenever we load the farm that this gets covered. So let's just duplicate this a few times. And now we're also going to do this for the door 1 tile, and we're also going to do this for our shop tile. And what this is going to do is it's going to cover it up, which is really useful because it means that you can't see it anymore, but it's still there. So I can still walk through it. It's just covered up.
Yeah. Maybe the door tile should be the pathway tile or covered by the pathway tile so that it shows where you can step on.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Where is the pathway tile?
There it is.
There it is.
I don't know why I couldn't find that. Awesome. All right, and we covered up our shop tile here too, so looking good. All right, so this is great. Let's go ahead and create our shopkeeper now. So to do this, we're going to use another block from the tile map loaded. We're going to go to our tile maps category and drag out a on top of each tile create sprite of kind. We're going to go ahead and change this to be our shop tile, and we're going to create a new kind, which is going to be shopkeeper. And that's going to create a sprite for us. By default, it's going to create a sprite that's transparent, which isn't what we want. We want to go ahead and make it so it's like, an old crow. So let's do that. To do that, we're going to use an event from the sprites category, which is on sprite created. And this event's really useful for doing stuff like this because it actually gives you this variable right here, sprite, which you can drag out. And this variable will refer to the sprite that is being created. So if I go into here and I do something like set image to, put sprite in there, then now I can go and, you know, set its image to whatever I want. So we'll just set it to us for now. And now if I walk on over.
Oh, we have player on there still.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, you're right. That's not player. We should be setting it for shopkeeper. Cool. All right, there we go. There's our shopkeeper. Very familiar face. All right, so this is pretty neat. Let's go ahead and change that image to make it an old crow. So right now, I'm pointing to an asset, which is actually, oh, it went ahead and duplicated it. That's odd, but okay.
Is it temporary? Yes. Okay.
So we'll go ahead and change this to be shopkeeper. We're going to fill in, get rid of our hat, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. And we'll give an eye. And now we're going to give them a beard. So it'll look like.
Perfect.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's okay. I wish Sham was here. And maybe we'll give them a cane also.
Okay, I think the cane is what was missing. Yes, this is sufficient now.
All right. So now if we head on over to this, we can now see that we have a shopkeeper. All right, awesome. So that's pretty neat. Let's go ahead and make it so that we can actually talk to our shopkeeper. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and add another extension. This one is a favorite of our stream, and also me because I wrote it. Ricknoll/arcade story. Go ahead and add this one, and it's got a lot of nifty blocks for doing things like talking to sprites and having conversations and making text bubbles appear and sequencing things. So we're going to go ahead and use that. What I'm going to do is I want the shopkeeper to automatically start talking when we get close to them. So like as soon as we're like here, I want the shopkeeper to start talking to us. So to do that, I'm going to be using a block that is inside of Joey's Sprite Utils extension, which is a distance block. And to make it easier to get a reference to this guy, I'm going to go ahead and do a variable. And now I'll use a.
Are you moving stuff? Because I think it's frozen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right, one moment.
Yeah, there we go.
Better. All right, cool. And let me make it so that the toolbar goes away on the stream. One moment, please. There we go. Cool. I told you stuff was going to happen today.
Spooky.
All right, so we're going to be using this distance block, and we're going to use an on-game update. And I'll probably just make it like on-game update every 100 milliseconds. That should be plenty. We don't need to do it every frame. So what we're going to do is we're going to loop over a list of sprites of kind shopkeeper. And then we're going to do an if statement. And if that distance is less than some amount, so we want value and we want the player, is less than, let's say, 48. So that's a 3-tile radius. Then we're going to start them talking. And I'm going to make a function for that so that we don't have to do all of it inside this on-game update. And this is going to take in a sprite, which is going to be our shopkeeper. All right, so let's call this function no quarters today. And we'll pass in our value.
It'd be bad if you got any quarters today without Vivian to count them.
That's true. But I would be honest. I would keep my quarter count in check. You know, if I'm going to require quarters of others, I need to require quarters of myself as well. And also, I want a puppy.
Yeah, that's true.
For people who are new to the stream, every time we make a function and forget to call it, which is something that happens very often, we put a quarter into a jar, and eventually we're going to use those quarters to buy a puppy.
Probably worth noting it's a metaphorical quarter in a theoretical jar, not a, unless you're keeping actual quarter jar. I haven't heard.
Oh,
of that.
I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a real puppy though.
Yeah,
that's probably not. All right, so let's go ahead and start our shopkeeper talking. So I want to make sure that we don't trigger this twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set something on our shopkeeper to know if they're already talking or not. So to do that, I'm going to go into here and see if I already added sprite data. I have not. So I'm going to go into extensions and add the sprite data extension, Vivian's favorite extension.
Ooh.
And the sprite data extension is great because it lets you store like local variables on your sprites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag out 2 blocks right now. One is going to get data. Going to be get data as Boolean. The other one's going to be set data to Boolean. And what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and put in an if statement here. We're going to see if our shopkeeper has the data talking as Boolean. If this is true, then we want to stop. So we're going to go into function and we're going to call return with no argument. And so this is just going to make it that if this is true, we'll return and we won't do any of the code that's under here. And so if this isn't true, then we want to start our talking. So we're going to set the shopkeeper data talking to true. And that means that this code won't run again. All right. And now let's go into the story blocks. We're going to start a conversation. And we're going to have our shopkeeper say, "Hey there, whippersnapper."
Nice.
It's a little too old-timey for me. I'm going to do youngin.
Okay. So a little old-timey, not 100 old-timey.
All right, so let's just see this go. Oh, whoops. I
They
thought
each
that it
need their
blocked.
own.
Yeah, I thought that it blocked when it was inside of start conversation, but I guess I just forgot how to do my my own extension.
Mhm.
That's fine. That means we just need to put all of these inside of a Q story part. Okay, we'll try this again. All right, so we got our text printing out. And I think what we want to do now is we want to go ahead and put in a function to get a type of seed that they're selling today. Oh, also, I need to make these fences walls.
Oh, you can fly.
That's true, but there's no flapping going on. All right, so let's go ahead and make a function. And it's going to be called Git Random Seed. And we're going to make this just return a random one of our seeds. So let's choose a seed to start with. I think that we have some art for plants already. So let's go ahead and check that out. So if I go into here and then, well, let me just go into the asset editor. Cool. Okay. So in here, we've got a few different plants. We have a spreading plant, self-spreading plant. We have a tall plant. We have a purple plant. And we have a carnivorous plant. Joey, does any of these catch you?
Well, I like lavender, so the purple plant's pretty good, but I can't place. Well, what do you think that's going to be?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should wait until Vivian and Shannon are here.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we just do the purple plant for now and don't say what it is.
But I want to start filling in the properties, so maybe we should do either the self-spreading or the tall plant.
Okay. Self-spreading's probably good then.
Cool. All right, let's do that. So let's go ahead and go back to our blocks. And inside of this Git Random Seed, we're going to go ahead and set a variable, which is going to be our seed. And this is going to be a random number. For now, though, we're just going to pick a random number from 0 to 0. And we'll just put in some logic. We'll put in an equals. And we're going to go ahead and set that first argument to be seed. So if the seed equals 0, then we are going to return something, but I won't put that in just yet. So let's make a sprite. I think we're gonna do these as sprites. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the seeds for this self-spreading plant. Make it like 8 by 8 is probably plenty. And it kind of had some red going on, right?
Yeah, orangey red.
So let's do something like, like this. Yeah, just some dots.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and change this variable to be new seed. And at the end of this, we're going to return this new seed variable. So now it's going to Sprite Data, and we're going to set some properties on it. So first, let's go ahead and set the name. Set the name to be self-spreading. Now we're going to set in a wrong name, Because I think it would be really funny if the shopkeeper has no idea what he's actually selling you.
Okay.
And so we just come up with a fake name of a real plant.
Do they need to be plants? Could the shopkeeper think that they're anything?
I think it makes more sense if they're plants, but if you got a
Okay.
pitch, let me know.
I was thinking like amber or something, but actual plants is probably good. Let's look up some red plants.
Oh, poinsettia is red.
Ooh, that is true. Poinsettias are pretty good.
All right, yeah, so we got our wrong name to poinsettia. And let's go ahead and set one more thing, I guess, which is going to be the price. And we don't really have money yet, but we'll probably use this later. Go ahead and make this new seed. This to price. And this is a pretty useful one, so I'm going to set it to 10.
Nice.
And then we'll return the new seed. And we want to set some other things real quick. We don't actually want the seed to show up yet. So I'm going to set some flags on it. We're going to set it so that the new seed has invisible on and just ghost on.
See, Davis in the chat said that we could make it so we hold them over our head when we get them, which I'm thinking of kind of like a, Legend of Zelda style, like holding it up after you get something from the chest.
Yeah, so my plan is that it'll go into your inventory, but in your inventory, you'll be able to pick it, and when you pick it, you will be holding it up over your head.
Nice. Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's go ahead and use this. We're going to queue another story part, and we're going to have the shopkeeper say, let's see, we want a text join. Today and let's go ahead and do a make a variable called seed, and we'll set it at the top of this function, actually, and just go ahead and call the Git Random Seed. And now we'll go back into the Sprite category, get a Git string block, put it in here, change this to be seed, and change this to be wrong name. And I think he's going to say it's, and then the price for 1, or and then I think you'll have the option of buying 1 or 10. So let's go ahead and get another Sprite property. This time we want a number. This join block is nice because you can put anything inside of it and it'll convert it into a string. Okay, so seed, we want to get the data price for 1, or, and we want to multiply this times 10. Or should he give you a deal? Nah, let's not do that right now, but maybe we'll do that in the future.
Throw in 1 extra random seed.
Well, I was just thinking like we could do like 9.5 instead of 10.
Not premier seeds.
Yeah, not premier seeds. That's a Pokemon joke.
There's a water balloon idea. Let's see what that is.
Yeah, Dobix posted it. It's a really cool one. Today I've got some fresh poinsettia seeds.
Ooh.
It's 10 for 1 or 100 for 10. Cool. Okay, so next we want to ask the player what they want. So we'll show some player choices, and it's going to be either by 1, by 10, no thanks. Then we will queue another story part. And to figure out what they chose, we'll just go into the story and get these last answer equals block. And now we can do see if our last answers equals by 1. And if it does, then we'll do something. So let's just use our score now for keeping track of our money. And we'll start out with 200. We won't actually in the game, but for now we'll just set it there so that we have some stuff to play around with. Then for this one, we want to buy 10, and then otherwise it's no thanks. All right. So let's see if the shopkeeper buys 1. He's like, wonderful. Okay, so we'll have the shopkeeper say something, and we're also going to change your score by however much you end up paying. So let's go into info. We're going to go ahead and change score by, and then we will do for this one, we're just going to change it by the negative of this. So let's go ahead and go into math, get a 0 minus block, and just do 0 minus that. For this one, we're going to do the times 10. And then finally, we're going to do the, for the you'll regret this tomorrow, we just won't do anything. And then for the last bit, we're going to go into queue story part. And we're going to set the talking to be false. We don't want to just do this, though. We actually want to also make it so that we don't keep talking while you are like in range. Oh, so actually, maybe I shouldn't even do this here. Maybe I should do it like inside of my on-game update. So I can do an else if and say if the distance is greater than, I don't know, 100, then we will set the talking to false, and we'll go into our don't want this to be shopkeeper, we want this to do value. And we'll go into story and we'll call cancel conversation.
Oof.
Yeah.
Just walking away.
Mm-hmm. Is this 100?
It should be about 100.
Ah, looks like a bug in the story extension. I'll fix it later. All right. So we did the sale. We got the 100 taken away from our prices, but there were a few problems. One, the conversation immediately started up again, and two, we were like able to move while we were selecting something. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go into here and do. When we show the options, we're going to change this move the player with buttons and make it 0, 0. And then once we've made a choice, we'll just go ahead and move it back to where it was. And then, oh, I know what the bug is. I think that I only made it work with the print dialog, and I didn't make it work with the sprite say.
Oh.
I'll fix it. But I'll do that off stream. All right, and we also want to make sure that we don't just immediately retrigger the conversation. So we're going to set another property. Let's go down here. Set this.
We're not clearing it there, are we? We're only clearing, the only place we're clearing the conversation is when we leave and come back.
Yep.
So then we won't ever immediately retrigger it unless once that bug is fixed. Because right now, right there, I think it retriggered because you left the map and then came back. And so internally it was still saying, okay, we had canceled it and then we restarted it.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah.
So I think that bug is just a product of the other bug. And so not something we need to fix right now.
Yep. Joey's right, everybody. All right. There is a bug right now, though, which is that I can, I'm not checking to see if I have enough money.
Oof.
So to do that, we're going to go ahead and put in a check real quick. We're going to say that we're going to check to make sure that we have enough money. So we're going to go ahead and get our score. And we're going to do a comparison. And we're going to see if our score is greater than or equal to the price. And if it is, then we're going to do this, and we're going to have the shopkeeper say this. Otherwise, we're just going to have the shopkeeper say,
Ooh, is there going to be a custom dialogue for when you try and buy 10? Like the shopkeeper thinking he's getting mugged?
No. I don't really know what I would say. Okay, cool. So the last thing we need to do is actually put this into our inventory. So let's do that real quick. I think we have enough time to get that done. So we didn't go over our inventory drawing code, but we did it last week. And I'll show it right now. Right now we have this tools and tool names. And so I think I'm actually just going to reuse these. So I'm going to leave the names as they are for now so that I can remember them. But the idea is that these tools are going to be an array of everything that you have. So that'll also include things like seeds or whatever. So to do that, we're going to go into our array category, and we're going to make one other array, which is going to be new variable tool counts. And we're going to start by setting it to 1 for all of these tools. When we buy it, we want to add it to our inventory. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new function now. It's going to be called add seed to inventory. And it's going to take in the seed, and it's going to take in the amount. And let's go ahead and call this right down here. We're going to add seed to inventory, change this to be our seed. And we want 1 for that one. For this one, we want 10. And the other thing I'm going to do real quick is that all of the tool images are 16 by 16. So I'm actually going to go ahead and resize this real quick. And we'll just put this in like the middle. Okay, so we've got that. Now let's go ahead and fill in our function. To do that, we're now going to go to our, the thing we just defined. We're going to go into our arrays, and we're going to get an add value to int. And so let's go ahead and make this our tool list first, which is an array of images. And so for this one, we're going to add the image of the sprite. Next, we have the tool names. So for that, let's go ahead and go here, change this to tool names. And for now, I think we're just going to make it say seed, because I don't think we have enough space to display the full name, and we might have to rechange our, I'll put in the right name for now, and then we will see if we what we can do to make it a little bit easier later.
We might want to end up keeping track of them as sprites, I think, and using the sprite data. We'll think of something later, because right now having the 3 or 4 parallel arrays is going to be a lot.
Yeah, but we only got 5 minutes.
Yeah, that can be later or even off stream, because it's kind of just easy enough to show afterwards.
No, I'm going to do it. All right.
Okay.
Timing. Make tool. Make tool takes in an image and a name and an amount, but that should always be 1 for now. We're going to go ahead and I think actually get rid of this function altogether, and we'll just use this for everything. So we're going to create a sprite of kind tool. We're going to set the image to be this image. We're going to set this tool to be, let's go down to the flags. Here we go. We're going to set some flags. So we're going to set this to be ghost on. We're going to set this to be invisible on, because we don't actually want to show this to player. We're just using this to store things. And for this, we're going to do new tool. Then we're also going to set some properties real quick. We want to store the name, and we want to store the amount. All right. So let's go ahead and store the name now. We're going to set it to a string. Name. Now we'll set a number. And now we will take our tool array and add this to the end. And this is going to cause a bunch of bugs, but we'll fix them. All right. So I'm going to put this in here, and now a lot of stuff is broken. I'm going to get rid of this. And now let's go ahead and go up to where we are defining our tools to start with. So that's an on start right here. And instead, what we're going to do is we're going to set our tools to be an empty array, and we're going to create function calls for each of these. So let's go ahead and call MakeTool. And for this one, we're going to put in the watering can first. So let's go ahead and do that. Watering can and 1. We're going to do this, set in our shovel image. Set in our hoe image. Set in our gloves image. Toss, 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 toss. Now we need to set our tools to be an empty array to start. And you go away, you go away. Hooray! All right. Now we're going to go to our function where we are actually drawing the inventory, which is...
Do we need to move the tools array creation up to above the make tool?
Yes, we do. All right. So we're doing our actual drawing right here. And so right now we are using this tools get value at index, and we want to change this to be our image instead. So let's go ahead and get an image block right here. Swap that out. And then we are also doing our tool names, but we don't want to do that. We want to get the string from our sprite. So let's go ahead and get data as string. We're going to change this to be tools. Put this in here. And set this to be name. And now let's try it out. All right, we're back where we were. All right, we're running out of time now, but I'm going to go ahead and finish up this refactoring so our code's going to be nice and clean for next week. I'm going to go over to where we're creating our seed. Okay, so first what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do this make tool. I'm going to add another argument. Whoops. Which is going to be don't add to inventory. Because I want the default to be that it does get added to the inventory. Mm-hmm. And now what I'm going to do is that seed function that I made before, this Git Random Seed, what it's going to do is at the end of here, I'm going to return our new tool. And now over here, I'm going to set my seed to be, I can get rid of this, I can get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. And I'm going to set my new seed to be a call to this function. So we're going to make tool. We're going to, for the image, we're going to put in the image that I just deleted. It's all right. It's in my assets. We're going to put this in as self-spreading. I'm going to leave that as 1, set that to true, and we're going to set the wrong name to poinsettia and the price to 10, and then we're going to return the new seed. Nice. We made our code so much less now. And now over here, we're going to go ahead and add the tool to our inventory. So we're going to go into tools. Do add value at end. Go to tools. and we're going to add our seed. And we're going to do the same thing down here, but we're going to change the amount before we do it here. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to be a number, then set the amount number to be bigger. And then add it. All right, and we're only 2 minutes over, so let's test this out real quick. We'll see it work.
Hopefully we'll see it work.
Yeah. Oh, right. It got added twice because I'm not actually checking my Boolean, but otherwise it worked. Hooray! Cool. All right, we've got an inventory we can add things to. Joey gave us a great tip for making our code cleaner by just storing everything as sprites instead of parallel arrays, because sprites can be sprites, or they can just be bags of things that you store stuff in, which is nice.
Yeah, like bags of seeds.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us today. Next stream is going to be Tuesday. Remember, we're not streaming on Monday because it's a holiday here in the US. We want to also let you guys know that next stream is going to be our 200th stream. So we're probably going to be playing through, we're probably going to take a pause on this game, and we're going to play through a bunch of our favorite games and post up another retrospective thing like we did for our 100th stream. So definitely tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll probably have a lot of people. Maybe Object will show up again like he did last time.
I probably won't have Object, but maybe we can get Hassan or Daryl or anybody.
Well, I mean, last time, if you remember, Object just popped in the last 5 minutes of the stream.
But he was actually there that day. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm Richard, at Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Joey, at JWonderl on the MakeCode forum.
And thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.